Her name's Miss Casey. She's our former wellness director.
How did you react when Ben called you and said, listen, I have an idea for you in this show?
It was a sublime moment. It really was, because I've long admired Ben's work and how varied it's been, from everything from Zoolander to Escape at Dannemora. I thought Escape at Dannemora was such a sensational piece of work. I hadn't seen a drama that electric and cinematic on television for some time. It just seemed to have a very singular voice and a really extraordinary sort of dream sequence as well, which showed great capabilities of dealing with the abstract. And I just really wanted to work with this person. It's the kind of work I wanted to do. So when I received the email asking me if I'd be interested in being a part of the show and having a part developed for me, it was pure heaven. It really was. Season 1 was beyond anything I thought it might be. I remember when I met Ben, he told me he was going to be directing the show called Severance, and about the premise of it, which I thought sounded fascinating. But I didn't realize that it would come to very imaginatively capture so many of the questions and pressures and conflictions in our current age.
I think it's creating lots of questions, more and more with every episode.
Yes, but I think that's really thrilling, because we live in a time where we're given facts, and knowing facts seem to be rewarded highly. But what isn't so recognized is understanding and depth and the power of connection and the power of humanity and emotionality and our psychic selves that we bring, the subconscious that we have no control over. And in the unending mystery, I feel of Severance, I feel is akin to something like Vertigo, which is one of my favorite films of all time, where there are so many questions. You know, when Madeline goes into the hotel, we don't see her leave. And Jimmy Stewart doesn't know how that's happened, but she's left somehow. And Hitchcock said, it doesn't matter that it isn't solved. We solve it in our minds, is a question that is creative in our minds. And I feel that that's what Severance gives us, is actually the opportunity to be creative and create castles in our own minds, worlds in our own minds.
All right, so I'll ask you about one of those castles, because when you were watching the first season and you saw the goats, for me, it was like seeing the polar bears on Lost. It was like, what the heck are they doing there? And when they approach you and saying like, your character will be a big part of this mystery, how do you react?
I was thrilled, because it was exactly what I wanted. I adored the goats so much, because we felt like we were starting to understand the world of Severance, of Lumen Industries. We felt like it was starting to become established in some way. And then there was this subversive element of these live animals brought in that just threw everything into confusion. And they were one of my favorite parts of the show. When they said they would like me to be a part of the show, I was overjoyed, but I was secretly hoping it might be something to do with the goats. And after I had my Zoom with Ben, I was jubilant, and I said to my partner, I am in charge of the goats. And he didn't quite know what that meant, but he was thrilled for me.
All right, so how many goats were there, and did you give them names?
There were 50 goats. I did give them names. So there was Baby, there was Size, as in Sighs. There was Large. There was also Bambi. And that was about all of the immediate ones. They were the ones that kept gravitating towards me. There were some really huge goats and some very small goats. And they just made themselves at home anywhere.
Which of those goats were your co-star in the scene that you were in?
Peggy the goat. Peggy the goat was one of my favorite co-stars of all time. Very spontaneous, very natural, endlessly inventive, and entirely unpredictable in the most charming way I could ever conceive.
And when you saw that you will have to be more active, you will go in this rage mode like in Game of Thrones, you will be the goat for the goats. So what was your reaction and what was your input of making this scene so much intense?
I haven't seen the scene yet. I'm thrilled that you say it's intense, because for me it was a very potent and dynamic story moment. It was a moment of one of the things I love most, actually. It was a moment of transformation, a woman's transformation from human to beast, to total beast. And it's a moment that's a total rejection of what is appropriate, what is feminine, what is considered justified. It is an emotional moment, and it's a guttural psychic vomit of rejection of every single rule and regulation from which Lorne has led her life at Lumen.
I'm also curious, what does, in your opinion, those goats symbolize in this world?
What do I think they symbolize?
Yes.
I think everybody's outie is a goat.
That's a nice. And do you think there is an outie of your character, and what do you think her life is? Because we don't know anything more that we saw about your character in the job, not anything beyond that.
I think Lorne's outie is a goat.
For real?
Would that be great? I could wear prosthetics. I could do some really considered and detailed animal work.
Actually, I'm looking that there's so usually an opposite. It will be a person that doesn't like any animals. She despises all animals. They will be like Cruella de Vil from Goats. You know?
Wow. Imagine that. I love that idea.
And also, for curiosity, if you're a fan of the show, and I know you were before you started,
yes.
Is it easy to become a part of it and suppress this geeky part of you that you are on this show, that you like it?
I've got a lot of shortcomings, and one of them is that I am unable to present myself as cool at all. I was just endlessly a sort of bundle of very gleeful energy and overwhelmed to receive this amazing gift. It was exactly what I wanted more than anything, was to be a part of this revolutionary, just delightful show that is so original and so unlike anything else that's gone before. And I don't bother to repress it, actually, because I'm just so delighted to be there. I truly, truly am. We can talk about the finale, can't we? I saw a painting with the cast on it. And when I saw myself there, I nearly collapsed, because I could not believe I was a part of this world. And the story is so endlessly giving and so intelligent. And it's educating me about so many aspects of literature and myths, other iconic shows, references to so many elements in culture. It's extraordinary. And we don't even know if those things are true or relevant, but it is raising our awareness to different sides and places in the world, as well as the dynamics of relationships involving isolation, estrangement, and the deep desire to connect.